Okay, good morning or afternoon to everybody. I'm here today to just kind of give a little reflection on the Masters in Global Ed that I've completed, and really just talk about what are my short and long term goals, kind of how has this program changed the way that I think about being an educator, and what my goals are in the future, where I think I can grow, where I think I can be, who I can be teaching, and all of that. So I think to start it off, right now I'm currently a Spanish teacher at a charter school in Boston, Massachusetts, and my short term goal is to continue and become the best educator that I can in my current position. I've taught now for just a little bit under 2 years, and have learned quite a bit in these 2 years, and especially as a result of completing both the teacher certificate program and also the master's in globalized ed, just to kind of get more theory in the work that I do, and just more knowledge as to why is it that the education system is the way that it is, and what can my role be in changing it for the better. So I think in speaking about some organizations that I hope to get involved um, in the near future, in order to continue learning and continue to better my craft. First of all, I was taking a look at the Alliance for International Education, and I think as a result of COVID, as a result of all of the things that we've experienced in the past year, 2 years as educators, it's really important for us to come together and be a part of a group that's really working to come up with solutions for all of the difficulties that we're facing right now. And it looks like the Alliance for International Education is a group that's seeming to do that. I think on a personal level, on a very small scale, I come together with my colleagues all the time to try to figure out what are different ways that we can engage with our students, especially when we were teaching virtually. But I think coming together with an international group to actually discuss, how are things going in other countries? What are the difficulties that students are facing in other countries? And even to think about, in countries where Wi-Fi isn't so accessible, where computers aren't so accessible, what are the things that we can do when faced with issues like this to combat them and to attempt to engage our students to the best of our ability is very important. And me starting my career out now, I hope to be able to involve myself in many different organizations and have many different deep, profound conversations with people who have more experience than I do and who have different experiences than I do, so that I can both share what I've learned throughout my teaching over the past couple of years, and just be open to hearing what has worked for other people, because there have definitely been times in the past 2 years that I've felt fairly overwhelmed, especially when we were online again, just trying to engage my students, wondering, are they really are they listening, are they learning? And I think just connecting with other educators can be a really positive thing that can kind of just keep our heads on straight, keep our feet on the ground, and allow us to continue moving forward. I think on a more specific level, I would love to get more involved with the IB program, because I've only, as of now, taught in the United States, but I think in thinking about teaching internationally, just having more practice, having more knowledge about the IB program, and ultimately more experience with it, will just open up my world for different opportunities that exist outside of the U.S. I've been thinking a lot about teaching potentially in Asia or potentially in South America, and I think just having more knowledge of different systems of education can be very helpful in applying for jobs. And once I get there with my feet on the ground, actually teaching and participating in these different environments. The last one that I wanted to talk about wasn't actually on the list in the resources for this unit. However, it is a program called SIT, or the School for International Training, and I actually participated in a study abroad program with this organization when I was in college, and it was a very profound experience. I participated in about a 4-month exchange program in Brazil, and it really opened my eyes to what education could look like. And before that, I'd never really experienced anything so profound, anything so connected to the community, to really grassroots organizations that were truly making a difference in those communities. And now, as an educator myself, I really, it gives me a lot of hope thinking that I could potentially work with this organization. I could explore their opportunities, and I could be one of those, game changers who is working with high school and college age students to really open their minds up to all of the different realities that this world has to offer, and all of the different ways that students can learn, and different ways that we can engage with communities. So specifically, I've been looking at a role that I actually just applied for. That is a digital facilitator role that would take place over the summer for high school students all around the world. And my role would be kind of similar to what the Teach Now teachers do. Is facilitate the classes, facilitate family interaction and things like that. And it's an 8-week long program, and I think that would just be something that would really open my eyes up to the potential that I have to participate in this virtual world too, that we are now in the middle of as a result of COVID. And I think there are definitely some downfalls to this virtual environment, but there are definitely also a lot of positives to it as well. And I would love to be working online so that I could have a little bit more freedom with where I am, with where I'm working from, so that I can continue to explore this world as well. So that's something that I'm definitely looking into. I think in terms of my long-term goals, I love teaching, and I hope to remain an educator for the rest of my life. But I think I won't remain a Spanish teacher forever, because though it is beautiful for me as a language learner myself, to be able to open students' minds up to foreign language, I think that I want to work more deeply, more profoundly with my students, participating in study abroad programs, for example, and in their native language, or if they're English speakers, in whatever native language it is. I also speak Portuguese and Spanish, so being able to work with students from South America, for example, bringing them to the United States, and just providing opportunities for them to participate in a completely different educational environment. I think that would be really profound for me. So one thing that I'm thinking, in the long term, is going back to school and getting a PhD in educational leadership, for example, which would allow me to change or switch kind of from the teaching side to the administrative side, and really create different types of programs. That's something that has been on my mind for a while, but I know that I'm going to have to stay within the teaching world for at least the foreseeable future, so that I can become the best teacher that I can, so that I can really learn how do I best engage with students, and how can students best learn, how can I best learn, and how can I be the best teacher that I can be. So I think that's where I'm at right now. Currently I'm 25 years old, and I love teaching, I love doing what I do, but one thing that's been on my mind now for a couple of years is also the prospect of teaching in Brazil. So that's why I bring up the IB program. My wife is from Brazil. I have a lot of connections in Brazil, and I've always thought about how meaningful and how profound it could be to move and actually live there and teach in an international school there. Because I have no experience in an international school yet. So that's why I bring up the IB program, just kind of covering my bases and learning as much as I can about what different international programs could look like, so that I could ultimately teach in one or many different schools in Brazil. I think that's kind of both a short-term and a long-term goal. I'm not sure exactly when that will be possible, but that's definitely something that's always on my mind. So I keep my eyes open to different positions and things like that, and just keep thinking about what are the real possibilities, because I love working with students from different cultures, and especially the Brazilian culture, which I love so much, which has really accepted me and become such a huge part of my life. So to be able to work with students from this truly a different world from where I grew up, and be able to share my experiences and also learn from their experiences would be really meaningful to me. So I'll definitely remain an educator for the foreseeable future, but I'm not sure that I'll remain a Spanish teacher. I'm not sure if I'll remain in the United States, and I think that's something that this program has really allowed me to see, is the opportunities that I have as an educator to teach anywhere, to teach online, to teach all around the world, really. And it's really just a matter of me committing to whatever that desire that I have might be, and making it happen. So I'm very grateful for that. And I hope to continue to explore this world of education, and dive deeper and deeper, and continue to, have conversations with like-minded people who want to create a difference in the world of education, especially now, when so many things are changing so quickly as a result of COVID, and just thinking about what is the best educational system that could exist, given the resources that we have at the moment. That's what I hope to continue working with, because I don't think there's anything more important in this world. So thank you for providing such a wonderful program, and I really appreciate it.